Okay, can we change the subject to something happy for a moment?
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever you want.
Oh, this is just, I don't know about you at home, but this is really a little difficult to take, and especially because it's all true. Well, now, okay, let me totally change of subject. You seem very active for someone, if you don't mind me pointing out again, who's a ghost.
Yes, well,
and has passed on from the mortal life into another realm. How do you do it? What are your secret tips? I mean, how do you keep so busy? And
well, I died sometime around 1823 over in London, because that's where I was living with my husband. I'm sure you detected a little bit of a British accent, and the thing was, I kept waiting and waiting to just pass on. Like, I'd sit there and I'd be like, oh. And then there was no light, nothing happened, and I was like, well, I guess if you try to light people on fire as a way of revenge, you don't really get the VIP pass to go to the next life. So I decided that I should busy myself, and I make sure I do Pilates and yoga sometimes. It helps, remain flexible. But I've also found out that dating does keep the soul very young.
How do you date? Where do you find the people? And I will say, again, you're the first ghost I've had on the show. I dare say, could be the last, I don't know, the one and only. But you are rather attractive for a ghost.
Thank you, Lynda.
But how do you find people?
Well, there is two things. Part of the problem is, I thought it was going to be great because I enjoyed this work environment, and so at Ghosts and Gravestones, we have other dead gentlemen who are in the market for new wives or, people to date. Except the trouble with dating co-workers, as it always is, it can get a bit messy, especially when, none of us ever really changed jobs, So it gets very awkward when you've all of a sudden dated all of your co-workers. But I have found that online dating can be helpful. I've actually joined a few of those, wacky online dating places.
You're online.
I am.
That's amazing.
Well, I was watching the TV, the telly one day, and I saw all these people, and they looked so happy and in love, and they're all like walking down a beach, and I haven't been to a beach in decades, so I really wanted to be on a beach. So I put my face in. I had one of my friends take a picture of me, and then I got a bunch of hits. Except, Lynda, I do have to give some advice to your viewers. I found often when I show up at, a bar or a restaurant to meet these gentlemen, they've lied about their picture.
Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Oh, now see, that's unconscionable. I always give advice and say, don't I say that? I've had people on here. When Allie was on, we talked about this. Don't lie. Don't give out false information. Don't give out fake photos. What do they say when you arrive looking like your photo?
Well, here's the thing. Oftentimes, since I do the tours at night, and I'm always traipsing through Boston at the evening hours, I do find, and probably these lights are giving it away, I feel a little more comfortable in the darker settings. So I always try and schedule, my dates at evening, usually in a dark bar room of sorts. But I'll show up, and they don't look anything like it, so I asked the maitre d', I'm like, I'm meeting a date, and I got a spiffy new hospital nightgown on, and walk in, and a gentleman who submitted his picture that's supposed to look like, a David Beckham, yes, shows up, and he looks like Danny DeVito, like the 4-foot gentleman from that Taxi show. It's not nice, lie. I didn't lie, I just made sure I got a new hairdo. Nice.
Well, then, you're actually finding a lot of the same difficulties that women alive today are dealing with.
Yes.
It's not fun, is it?
It's not. It is not. It's not fun to be cheated on. It's not fun to have people lie to you on the interbox thing. And it's not fun to accidentally light yourself on fire as vengeance.
No, that's actually really good advice for people. Actually, remember that if there's one thing you take away today, don't play with matches, and make sure the door's unlocked if you set somebody afire.
Yes.
Yes.
Please check your logs.
Now we have one more thing before we actually get to a couple of emails. I think we may have time for one or two emails.
Right.
But you're so savvy on the internet. I heard a rumor in the green room about Facebook.
Yes. Well, Lynda, I'm so glad you mentioned that. Like I said, ladies, let it be a lesson to you. You always have to be your number one. You always got to watch out for yourself. So me, when I was trotting around all the countryside and things like that, I started hearing people chat about this book of faces. So I started going around, killing people, collecting their faces, and then one of my friends was like, Lily, that's not... No, that's not it. It's on that computer thing that, and you go on there. So I actually created a Facebook page for myself. So if you go to Facebook and you think I'm attractive, or you just want to talk about being a ghost, you type into the little search box, Lily, Lily, Winters, like Lily the flower and then Winters the season. And I'm there, bopping around, talking to people I've met. I even find that a couple handsome gentlemen sometimes will do that poke thing on, and I think that means you're cute, right?
I think it does. Good for you. Now, actually, when people are complaining, and take this as a lesson for anybody, if you wake up on a day or a weekend and you don't have a date and you're feeling sorry for yourself, think about Lily. And look at everything she's doing for herself, and she's dead. She's a ghost, and she's having a great time. She's got a job. She does internet dating. She's got Facebook. She's not sitting at home feeling sorry for herself.
No, not at all. I technically don't have a home because, I'm a ghost, and it's hard to get, people can't really check your background when you're about to sign a lease for a place. But yeah, sitting at home, me. That's why I'm always moving, just bouncing around.
Good for you. Good for you. Well, do we have time for a couple of quick emails?
Well, Lynda, I love giving advice, whether people want it or don't want to hear it. So let's go for it, darling.
All right, I'm going to read this first one. She says, I just found out the guy I've been seeing for a year has a wife and 2 kids back home in Nebraska. I found this out while going through his emails. How should I confront him on this? He does not know I figured out his password. First of all, I have to say, I don't think figuring out the password was the worst of today's problems. Lily, what do you want to tell this woman?
Well, first of all, I have to say, she probably is in a bunch of deep trouble. He's probably gonna flip his lid when he finds out that she was, going through his email and stuff, and he's gonna overreact, and he's gonna be like, blah, 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 I can't trust you, you broke through my email. And then you remember that you are a hot chickie living in Boston, and he's from Nebraska. Nebraska, what is there to do in Nebraska? I went there once, there was a cow. One. That was it. So unless this guy, his wife and kids are just hanging out with this one cow I saw, you need to kick him to the curb, lady.
Good advice. I actually agree with Lily. I've never been to Nebraska, but he needs to be kicked to the curb. Oh, here's one. She writes, my boyfriend swears the woman he golfs with every Saturday is just a platonic friend. He says she has a boyfriend. Yet whenever I suggest we double date with the 2 of them, he nixes the idea. Does this sound suspicious to you? Yes, this sounds very suspicious to me. But maybe I'm wrong. Lily, what do you think?
Well, Lynda, this actually, I believe I know what the problem is here.
What do you think the problem is?
This gentleman, this boyfriend of hers, I bet he has multiple personality disorder. What if, just follow me here, what if he actually has 2 distinct personalities? One of his personalities is dating this viewer of yours, and his other personality, let's call him Larry, Larry is dating the other girl. So he's probably talked to his therapist is giving him advice, he's probably watched, a couple Dr. Phil programs. He knows that he can never meet all at the same time, or he'd have a mental breakdown and end up like me.
You know? That could be true. That could be true. What I want you to do, the viewer that sent me this email, be very careful. Take Lily's advice. Shoot me another email, and we're going to talk back and forth by email. All right. That is a take that I would not have come up with. But I think that's your experience from hundreds